From day one of leaving Wuhan, we've had these media reports about lack of access, lack of transparency, lack of openness, lack of data. I challenge those people who believe there's a lack of data to read the report.
We got very good cooperation from our Chinese colleagues. They gave us a lot of data that the world hasn't seen before, and we were able to analyse that.
And what they say is extremely unlikely.
In fact, coronavirus are studied in virology labs around the world, including the U.S. Bioweapons Lab at Fort Detrick in Maryland. The Fort Detrick has a history of safety issues and
that there potentially was a leak.
Will the U.S. investigate that possibility and invite Chinese authorities to participate?
My daughter, at the age of 28 years old, was diagnosed with brain cancer.
I lived on Elm Street, and on the side of the road that I lived on, just counting the 6 houses, everyone had cancer. And we all took that as normal.
My cousin Larry, he died of cancer when he was 39. That's my brother, he has cancer. That's me, I had cancer.
Then my second daughter gets sick and has tumors in her womb. And they said that this was not genetic, but environmental.
1,300 people in a 1-mile radius. And what's causing so much sickness? It turns out all these victims have one thing in common. They live next to a military base called Fort Detrick.
In historic Frederick, Maryland, are the biological warfare laboratories. The volunteers have been positioned in cubicles on the outside of the test sphere, in which a cloud of biological warfare agent can be generated.
So it's a level 4 lab for biological testing and development. What kind of chemical and biological materials was Fort Detrick developing?
Pretty much everything known to man that is deadly. Agent Orange, we know that for a fact. Anthrax, smallpox,
Mustard gas, weaponized botulism, the list goes on.
So, this is the area, this is like ground zero.
This, which is all Area B behind.
This is all Area B. You can see the fence, barbed wire, all the way around. And they put everything in these 55-gallon drums, and they buried at least 100 drums. They say about 30 foot down. But anyone knows, with any logic at all, eventually a drum is going to rust. And as they rust it, little by little, all of these deadly toxins were going into the aquifer. It is one of the worst contaminated aquifers in the world.
We know that there's dangerous contaminants that are in the soil. We know that it leached into the water supply. Remedial action was undertaken immediately. The particular residents that were involved were given different sources of water.
We don't drink the tap water.
And why is that?
Because we know there's chemicals there.
We've got some breaking news out of Fairfax County right now. There's been an outbreak of a respiratory virus at a senior citizen home.
A deadly outbreak in Virginia. 2 deaths and dozens of residents sickened by a respiratory illness here at the Green Spring Retirement Community. In just the past 11 days, 54 people have become ill. Symptoms ranging from a bad cough to pneumonia.
But of the outbreaks that are not flu, there are some where we never identified the etiology.
On the 15th of July, 2019, the CDC sends a cease and desist letter to the lab, telling them essentially to shut down most operations. And then we find another mystery respiratory illness that's causing pneumonia. On the 18th of July, the military lab is shut down. You can actually find a list of those ones which are in their database. Swine flu, Ebola, and SARS-associated coronavirus. So it seems that they have animals there, they have a coronavirus there.
But according to officials, the fort is engaging in unsafe practices that could allow those diseases to escape.
The CDC detected at least 6 violations of federal regulations, including critical containment procedures. The inventory of the selected agents in the lab was also inaccurate. Moreover, there were leaks caused by a dysfunctional wastewater decontamination system. The most suspicious part of the CDC inspection report was its large redactions, leaving the involved agents in the 2 breaches a myth to the public. The CDC cited national security reasons for not releasing further details. Carol Krim of the Maryland's House of Delegates was among those who openly doubted the report and asked for more transparency over the health and safety risks posed by the institute. Besides, 4 doctors from the local advisory committee wrote an open letter to condemn the Army's lack of transparency.
Because the very lab, and it's the only Department of Defense Level 4 biosafety lab, biocontainment lab, is suddenly accused of having problems with decontamination and is shut down by the CDC. It can get out and it can be made even worse. It can cause an outbreak, God forbid, even an epidemic.
And I think any country that's had big outbreaks needs to really be looking at what sort of things might have occurred before they first had cases. It can take time. You have to develop cooperation, you have to work with people in an open and transparent manner to get things done.
But what people are really interested in is how well it's working. We would like to see fact-based evidence of safe operations.
Not having any information about where the dangers lie is only going to continue this suspicion and make Fort Detrick an alien force within the community.
Over 20 million Chinese citizens have signed an open letter calling on the WHO to investigate the operations of Fort Detrick in the US state of Maryland. Beijing has called on the US for transparency on the matter and to give a satisfactory response to the letter.